Hi everybody. Hope everyone is safe inside home by taking nutritious food. Are you all taking one vegetable and one fruit daily? If you are taking in such a manner, then you can stay healthy and be safe. And in the last two classes, we discussed generally about the topic food and its components, what you studied already in grade 6. And today, I am going to start the new first chapter in grade 7. And already we discussed from where we get our food, that is from plants. And the food, what we take, is a complex food. That is, it is in an insoluble form. And our body cannot utilize the food. Utilize means what? Using that or taking that as it is. That is, that food, what we are eating is complex food. And these complex food should be converted into simple food. That means that insoluble food, what we are taking is in the insoluble form. This should be converted into soluble form. That is, already you know what are the components of the food. What are the components? The nutrients, the substances present in the food which are needed by our body. Those are called nutrients, that substances. And that substances are in the insoluble form. And it should be converted into soluble form. That is, breaking down the complex food into simple food. Because our body cannot utilize as such we are eating. And this mode of taking food, and utilizing it and utilization of food by our body is called nutrition. So, mode of taking food, that is what we are taking in, that mode of taking food and utilization of food. Utilization means what? What we are taking should be accepted by our body and it should be used by our body. That is called utilization. It should be absorbed in our body. The nutrients should be absorbed. Is it not? That is called utilization of food. So, the mode of taking food and utilization of food by our body is called nutrition. Okay, and in this class, we are going to learn about the first chapter, nutrition in plants. So, all living organisms, including human beings, depend on plants for their food. And how the plants get their food? We or the animals depend directly or indirectly on plants for food. Then, how the plants get their food? Are we feeding them? What do the plants do? So, that plants prepare their own food. You know, all green plants prepare their own food. How they are able to prepare their own food? By a process called photosynthesis. So the plants prepare their own food by the process called photosynthesis. So for this photosynthesis, what and all are necessary? Already you learnt from the lower grade, from third itself I think, grade 3, 4, 5, 6. All the grades about this topics you would have learnt. So what is the photosynthesis? The process of preparing food using sunlight. Using sunlight in the presence of chlorophyll. What is very important for photosynthesis process? How the plants are able to prepare their own food. Why can't we prepare the food? We are not preparing the food. We are cooking the food, that's all. But plants are preparing their own food and storing for themselves. Using the sunlight and chlorophyll. For that the main thing is chlorophyll, the green pigment which is present in the plants, in the leaves. So you may ask, other parts like stem, branch, can't they prepare the food? The green color of the plant is because of the presence of the green pigment called chlorophyll. So wherever the chlorophyll is present, whether it is in the branches or stem, they also can prepare their food. But in the brown stems, some shrubs and all, for example, let us take a rose plant. The leaves only will be in green color. The other parts and all will be in brown color. So that brown color part and all cannot prepare their own food. Only the green part which is having the green chlorophyll pigment, they can prepare their food. And using what? Using the sunlight, which is the main source of energy. Sunlight is the main source of energy. And carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. From where the plants get the carbon dioxide? From the atmosphere. They absorb the carbon dioxide. So many gases are present. In that they absorb the carbon dioxide which is needed for the process of photosynthesis. And with the help of water. From where the plants get water? From the soil. So using the carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, they prepare the food, that is starch. And the food is called as starch, what they prepare. It is also called as glucose. Plus what they release? Oxygen gas. They give out oxygen gas. So this is the equation for the process of photosynthesis. May be asked in 1 or 2 mark. They may give the equation and in between they may give the blank and ask you to fill, or in the 2 mark they may ask you to write the whole equation. Write the equation for photosynthesis. So you should know well about this. That is carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. The plant prepares the food, that is the starch, and releases oxygen. So during photosynthesis, what gas is released? Oxygen is released. And I'll show you the photosynthesis process. Are you able to see this? And this is the process of photosynthesis in diagrammatic representation. That is this green plant. It absorbs the water. So this is the water. This is the water molecules present in the soil. Are you able to see these droplets of water? And it will be absorbed by the root of the plant. And main source, sunlight. So using this sunlight and water and in the presence of chlorophyll. Where is the chlorophyll present? In the leaves. The leaves prepare its food, absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. See, the arrow mark is getting inside. So it absorbs oxygen from the air. So from the air, it absorbs carbon dioxide and it gives out oxygen. It releases oxygen during daytime. When the sunlight will be present? In the daytime. So in the daytime, during the process of photosynthesis, the plants absorb carbon dioxide from air and water from the soil, and they prepare the food using sunlight and chlorophyll and gives the food and releases oxygen, and this process is called photosynthesis. Understand? And so this is the equation for photosynthesis. In this way, the plants prepare their own food. How the plants are able to absorb this carbon dioxide and release the oxygen? That also you know. Exchange of gases takes place through the stomata. So if this is the structure of the leaf. On the underside of the leaf, small openings will be present through which the exchange of gases will take place. And for this, structure of stomata is there. See, this is the structure of stomata. In the middle, small opening. Don't think this much big it will be. It is microscopic in nature. Under microscope only we can see that. But the structure will be like this. Small opening. It is guarded by the guard cells. Can you see the dots here? So this is the guard cells. That means this guard cells will protect that opening from damage. That a small hole may be get destroyed. From the destruction, these guard cells will protect the stomata. The small opening is called stomata. These are nothing but the surrounding cells. So the small opening is the stomata. Are you able to see this? And through this stomata only, this exchange of gases take place. That is, small opening called stomata will be present, and surrounding this stomata will be protected by guard cells. Protected by guard cells. Through this opening only, the exchange of gases will take place. So in this way, through the process of photosynthesis, the plants prepare their own food, and we all depend on the plants for our food. So this mode of taking food and utilizing it is called nutrition. This nutrition is of two types. What are they? Autotroph and heterotroph. What are the two types of nutrition? Autotroph and heterotroph. Auto means what? Self. Troph means nourishment. So, preparing their own nourishment. Self. Own. Preparing their own food is called autotroph. Hetero means what? Others. That means depending on others. So, what about us? We human beings, autotroph or heterotroph? We are heterotrophs because we depend on plants or animals for our food. So, we are all heterotrophs. The only organism, living organism which is autotroph is green plants. All other living organisms depend on plants directly or indirectly on plants. Okay. So, this nutrition is of two types. That is autotroph and heterotroph. Okay. Now, the food prepared by the plants, and it is stored as energy, and that energy is stored in the form of chemical energy. So, it may be asked in 1 mark that the food is stored in which form of energy? So, the food is stored as chemical energy in plants. Okay. In what form the energy is stored in plants means in chemical energy. The form of chemical energy, the food is stored in the plants. And that food prepared by the plants is called as carbohydrates or starch, and its formula is C6H12O6. Its components, carbohydrates are the glucose. It is all called as carbohydrates, or it is called as glucose. It may be called either or starch. Glucose or starch. It may be called as any one. All are same only. What the food prepared by the plants is called as carbohydrates or glucose or the starch, and its formula is C6H12O6. The components are carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and these carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are used to prepare other nutrients. So what are the other nutrients? Proteins. Is it not? What are the nutrients already is studied? Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. Now the plants prepare this using carbon dioxide, water, in the presence of sunlight and all. It prepares the carbohydrates. And the component of that carbohydrate is carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. And these carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are used to prepare or form the other nutrients such as proteins or other substances, fats and all, vitamins and minerals. And generally these proteins, they are made up of nitrogenous compounds. These proteins are generally nitrogenous compounds. That is nitrogen. It is mostly made up of this nitrogen. But where this nitrogen is present? Again in the atmosphere. How the plants absorb the carbon dioxide for photosynthesis? In the same way, the plants should absorb this nitrogen which is available in the atmosphere. But the plants cannot absorb the nitrogen directly from the atmosphere. Then how that plant will take nitrogen? It absorbs the nitrogen from the soil. For this, some bacteria present in the soil, that is one type of bacteria called rhizobium, RHIZOBIUM. What is the name of that bacteria? Rhizobium, RHIZOBIUM. Just I simplified, syllabified that word. How to read? No need to put comma. Rhizobium bacteria helps to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. See, in the process of photosynthesis, I explained that the leaves absorb carbon dioxide and releases oxygen. Is it not? In the same way, nitrogen is also present in the air, but the plants cannot absorb it directly. So how? But it needs nitrogen to prepare the protein. Then how it will get that nitrogen? Some bacteria present in the soil, they fix the atmospheric nitrogen in the soil. They fix that atmospheric nitrogen in the soil. From the soil, the plants will get its nitrogen for the preparation of proteins. You understand or not? Okay. So carbohydrates are nothing but the components of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and these carbohydrates are produced in the plants using the carbon dioxide and water in the soil. By using that sunlight and all, they prepare the starch or glucose or carbohydrate. But it needs nitrogen for the preparation of proteins. The plants cannot directly absorb the nitrogen from the atmosphere. So how it could take the nitrogen? Some bacteria present in the soil helps the plants to absorb the nitrogen from the atmosphere. It will absorb that nitrogen and it will fix it in the soil. That bacteria help the plants. So from the soil, the plant will absorb the nitrogen to prepare the proteins. Hope you all understand up to this. So in this way, the plants absorb nitrogen and uses it for the preparation of proteins and fats and other compounds. Apart from this, we or the farmers use fertilizers in the soil. They spray the fertilizers or they will apply the manures or fertilizers which are rich in nitrogen, and the plants will use that for the preparation of proteins. So in this way, the plants are able to prepare their own food. So they come under what type of nutrition? Autotrophic nutrition. That means self-nourishment. They take the self-nourishment, prepare their own food. All green plants. Okay, now you must have a doubt. If all the green plants are autotrophs, what about the other plants which are not having green leaves? That means you could see some plants other than green color. For example, crotons. Croton plants, ornamental plants. You could have seen in all the places. In that, you could see different colored leaves, brown, yellow, orange. Is it not? So different colored leaves are there. How could they prepare their food? Are they preparing the food or not? Yes, they also prepare their own food because chlorophyll is present. The green pigment is present in those plants. But what color they are? That color pigment masks the presence of that green color. That is, that green color will be masked. Masked means it prevents that appearance. Maracharal. Because the other color pigment, if that leaf is yellow in color, means that yellow color pigment will be more in that plant and the leaf appears yellow in color. Green color pigment, chlorophyll, is also present, but it will not be visible. So as the green color pigment is present, the other colored leaf plants are also comes under autotrophs. Next, the other type of nutrition is heterotrophic. So in the beginning I told that nutrition is of two types. One is autotroph and the second one is heterotrophs. That means hetero means other. How they get their nourishment from others. That is what we are going to see. This heterotrophs is of four types. That is, one is parasitic nutrition. Second one, saprotrophs. Parasite, saprotrophs. Then insectivorous. Insectivorous, and the last one is symbiosis. So, nutrition is of two types. What are they? One is autotroph and the other one is heterotroph. And we discussed about that autotrophic nutrition. Next, heterotrophs. That means the plants which depend on others are called heterotrophs. This heterotrophic nutrition is of 4 types. 4 divisions are there. That is parasitic mode of nutrition, saprotrophic mode of nutrition, insectivorous plants are there, then symbiotic mode of nutrition. 4 types are there. In that, now let us see about the parasitic mode of nutrition. And in this parasitic mode of nutrition, they depend on others because they don't have that green color chlorophyll pigment. So they are not able to prepare their own food. They are not able to prepare their own food. That is why they are depending on others to get their nourishment. They get the food from other plants. They will absorb. And this mode of nutrition, that is depending on others for their nourishment, absorbing the nutrients from the other plant, that is called parasitic mode of nutrition. And for this, the example is Cuscuta. For this, the example is Cuscuta. It has got different names. It will be yellow and tubular in structure, like this. Yellow color thread-like structure it will be. You could have seen in roadside and all, or nearby, if any empty space is there, this could be seen easily. It climb on other plants. Abhi kodi mari abhi padarndha, it grows on other plants. It will be in yellow color. It has other name, Tanga Kodi and Sadadari. Like that, it got different names in Tamil because it looks like hair-like structures or thread-like structures, and even on big trees it can climb and cover those trees. That yellow color tubular structure you can see. It is a climber in the roadside. Even in front of our school it is seen from Mohanur side. When we are moving, you could see this. In front of our school it is there. So this Cuscuta is a climber, yellow tubular structure that grows and it spreads on other plants, and it will absorb the nutrients from its host. Host means what? See, now you are all at home, and some guests are coming to your house. It may be either your relative or friends, whatever it is. Those who are not a member of your family, third person is coming, and you are inviting them, and you are the host. You welcome them, you provide them something to eat. Is it not? So you are the host. Like that, this Cuscuta is a guest, because it grows on other plants, depend on other plant, and on which it climbs. For example, if this Cuscuta grows and spreads on a tree, so like this it will grow on this and it will spread over this whole tree, and this Cuscuta is called as a parasite, and this tree is called host. Understand? So in this way, the plant which deprives the nutrition of its host, nutrients of the host. Deprives means what? Absorbs, uses, utilizes. It is not preparing its own food. It deprives the nutrients of the host plant on which it climbs or twines. This mode of nutrition is called parasitic mode of nutrition. So now we discussed about the parasitic mode of nutrition. That means the plants which deprives the nutrition from the host is called parasitic mode of nutrition. Example, Cuscuta. Now the second one is insectivorous plants. Insectivorous plants. What is this insectivorous? The plants trap the insects and absorb nutrients from the insects. So such types of plants are called insectivorous plants. Orous. Do you remember that word? Carnivores, omnivores and all? What are carnivores? They kill the other animals for their food. So in the same way, the plants also kill the insects to absorb the nutrients from the plants. From the insects. Such plants are called insectivorous plants. Okay. Why these plants kill the insects? They are preparing their own nutrients, absorbing the water and minerals from the soil and absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, trapping the sunlight. Why should it kill the insects and all? Because plants need nitrogen. Already we discussed. That nitrogen will not be present in the soil. So for that, what I told, some bacteria, kind of bacteria called rhizobium is present in the soil and it will absorb the atmospheric nitrogen and it will fix that nitrogen in the soil. In case, if that bacterium is not present, how the plants will get nitrogen? And these plants, insectivorous plants, they will have some special adaptations to trap the insects. It will not look like the other plants. It will have some special adaptations or structures to trap the insects. One example is pitcher plant. What is that example? Pitcher plant. So pitcher means what? This pitcher. In Tamil it is called kuduvai. So this structure. This is the pitcher. So in insectivorous plants, the plants trap the insects and they will kill them. How? The tip of the leaf. Now, if this is the stem, from this the leaf will arise. So normally, generally in all the plants, from the stem the leaf will arise. And the tip of the leaf, that is the apex, it will not be normal. It will be extended like this to form the pitcher. The tip or the apex of the leaf is converted into a pitcher and this will have a lid like this. Are you able to see clearly? Do you understand what a pitcher is? Pitcher is nothing but this structure that is called as kuduvai in Tamil. Inside this pitcher, enzymes, digestive enzymes will be present. And thinking that these digestive enzymes as nectar. What is this? Digestive enzyme. It is secreted inside this pitcher. Thinking this digestive enzyme as nectar, that means as honey, the insects will be attracted towards this. And when the insect come and sit on this, it will be sticky in nature. It will get attached here. Again, after sitting on this enzyme, the insect cannot escape. It cannot fly away. And this lid will be closed. And this insect will be attracted down it will be digested by this digestive enzyme, and the plant will absorb the nitrogen from them for its growth to prepare that nutrients, proteins and all. You understand? So such type of plants that trap the insects for their nourishment or to prepare the nutrients are called insectivorous plants. And there is another type of insectivorous plants, another one. It will look very beautiful in colors and all, green and red color. And that one is nothing but the second example, Venus flytrap. Now, I think you could see the Venus flytrap, that plant. And can you see the two lobes here? That means it looks like that leaf will be having the folding like this. Generally, that leaf will be having the flat surface, a single leaf. But in this, can you see these two lobes like this? It has a central folding and some hair-leaf like structures at the top. And inside that red color, it is nothing but the digestive juice. Hope you remember that pitcher plant. That pitcher is having the digestive juice. In the same way, in this Venus flytrap also, that will be having that digestive juice in between these two lobes. And when these insects come and sit in this digestive juice, what will happen? These two lobes will close and trap the insects, and it gets digested and it will absorb the nutrients. So, in this way, some plants trap the insects to get the nutrients. For example, the pitcher plant. The leaf is modified, the apex of the leaf is modified as pitcher, and in Venus flytrap, the lobes, they have the special structure with the hairy structures which entangle the insects and they digest them with the help of the digestive juices inside this, and they absorb the nutrients what they want. Now, do you understand how the plants get the nutrients? That means what nutrients are not present in the soil, how they are able to get, how to manage from others. I hope you understand how the parasite and this insectivorous plants get the nutrients. Next, the other mode of nutrition, that is saprotrophs. The next one is saprotrophs. Third one, saprotrophs. And these saprotrophs, they obtain their nutrition from the dead and decaying matter. From the dead and decaying matter. Hope you all know the bread mold. That means if you get a bread and just if you sprinkle some water on the bread and if you close it and keep in a container without opening it for 2 or 3 days. After that, if you open, what could you see? You can see some cotton-like structures. That means white, hairy, fluffy structures. Is it not? Either in black or white in color. Those are called as bread mold. Not only in that, in tomatoes, decayed tomatoes. If you keep it closed in a container, what will happen? a black color structure, spongy structure will be formed on that. Is it not? And those are called as bread molds or fungus, like this. One end will be a rounded structure and other one will be hairy thin tubular like structures. These are called as bread mold or fungus. It is a type of fungi. Bread mold or fungus. What these will do means they will secrete some enzymes, a liquid-like structure on that substratum on which it grows. For example, if this is the bread, a slice of bread. And in this, they will secrete a liquid-like substance and it will make this solid into a soluble form, liquid form. You can see that watery content coming out. It is nothing but that liquid secreted by this bread mold or this fungus on this substratum, and it converts that semi-solid or solid substance into the liquid form, and it absorbs the nutrients from this food item or the substratum. Substratum means nothing but on which it grows. Either it may be food item or some other thing, living organism. Wherever it grows, it secretes an enzyme in a liquid form and it makes it into that soluble form and absorbs the nutrition from that substratum. This mode of nutrition is called saprotrophic mode of nutrition. So this mode of nutrition in which the plants take its nutrients in the form of soluble form from the dead and decayed organisms is called saprotrophic mode of nutrition. And the organisms which have this type of mode of nutrition is called saprotrophs. Okay, example, bread mold, a type of fungus. So children, today we discussed about nutrition. What is nutrition? The mode of taking food and utilization of that by our body is called nutrition. This nutrition is of two types. What are they? Autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Example for autotrophic nutrition, green plants, all green plants. In that we discussed several topics. Then the second one is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. In that four types are there. What are they? First one, parasitic mode of nutrition. Example, cuscuta. Second one, insectivorous plants. For that, what are the examples we discussed? Pitcher plant and Venus flytrap. Then third one, parasitic mode of nutrition. For this example, bread mold or mushroom. Mushroom also growing on the dead and decayed organisms absorb the nutrients. So like this, we discussed three types of nutrition in this class. Hope you all understand. The rest we will see in the next class. I will send class work and worksheet along with this. You all please complete the worksheet in a separate note and the class work in separate note. Thank you children.